Hey, namaste. I'm Kay. This is Ecstatic Self. Today I want to talk about the importance of leaning into difficult conversations. So, if you're like me, you'd like to have a peaceful surrounding, you like everybody to be happy, but sometimes that means I don't want to bring up the difficult things. I don't want to bring up that thing that I know is going to make somebody upset, make them angry, make them sad. But in actuality, if you really, truly want to have peaceful surroundings and have everybody getting along, it is important that you lean into the difficult conversations. It is important that you say that thing that might hurt someone's feelings, that might make them feel bad, but do it in a compassionate and loving way. Because people are always very sensitive to the fact that things are being held back from them. And in fact, studies have shown that most people in the workplace wish they were getting more feedback from their bosses. And yet most bosses feel afraid to give feedback and don't know how to do it because it's hard, it's uncomfortable. And I want to share a little bit about an experience I had in my life recently. So months ago, we had invited a friend of ours to come live with us. Because at that point I was traveling every week, doing coachings around the world. My husband was traveling every week for his job. And we're like, you know what? Why don't you come live with us? Move from another state to DC, and we'll give you a break on rent, but you can watch our dog. That's been really stressful for us trying to find daycare for him, and we'll have a new friend in the city, and it'll be great. And then of course the pandemic happened, and we both of us stopped traveling, and the roommate situation has not been working out. It's not been great. No fault of our own, just not working out. And we've had to lean into these difficult conversations of saying, hey, this isn't working. This isn't working. This isn't what we hoped for any of us. And it's been uncomfortable. And in this situation, unlike a lot of difficult talks I've had in my life, the other person has not handled it well. They've not responded in the way that I'm used to when I approach somebody to talk about something difficult. They've felt very attacked. And that, of course, is our fear, right? That's the reason we avoid wanting to talk about those difficult things. Is we don't want someone to feel attacked. We don't want them to feel hurt. We don't want them to feel like we don't care about them, because obviously we do. And I doubt my roommate will ever watch this, but if you hear this, I do care about you. But sometimes those conversations just are messy. Sometimes they feel like, oh wow, okay, you don't care about me. That's why you're saying all these things. Or you're being really selfish, or you're being really mean. But the truth is if you had never said anything, or if I had never said anything, there would have been more problems, right? There would have been more resentment building. There would have been more uncomfortable things that were not being addressed. So even though it didn't feel good in the moment, and it doesn't feel necessarily good right now, like ultimately it's something that needed to happen. And I will say that this experience for me has been a bit of an outlier, that normally when I go to people and say, hey, there's something really going on, they've usually been very receptive. I will say I think probably what makes this situation different is that there was like an element of emotional relationship going on, in not too dissimilar of a way of some, like an ex, like somebody you're dating. I think that there were some really, and I knew this early on, some really unhealthy boundaries being crossed emotionally and wanting more than I was capable of giving. And so this has started to feel a little bit like a breakup in a way. But it doesn't have to be that way, and it shouldn't be that way. One of the things I so admire about my husband is he's still really good friends with all of his exes. Like, it is possible to leave somebody, even from a romantic or emotional relationship, and leave them still feeling loved and supported and cared for. So this week I've been thinking about that a lot. It's been hard for me, but I'm doing the best I can, and I'm being gentle with myself. I'm being gentle with that person, and I've talked about in other videos, which is ultimately always coming from a place of love. So even if you have that difficult conversation and they lash out at you, just love them, bless them, say, oh, I bless you, I bless you, I send you love, I send you joy, I send you forgiveness, even if it feels very personal. Just keep giving them love. Because I know ultimately that's the kind of person I want to be. I want to be the kind of person that even if somebody says something really spiteful and mean, I respond from a place of love. Because ultimately, if everything's energy, and our goal is to become the most expansive energetically that we can become, the most open, the most free, anger, frustration, hatred, those are very contracted energies. We want to live in the more open, beneficial energies. So for me, I want to choose love. I'm still going to continue to have these difficult conversations, even if they don't go well, but I'm always going to do my best to come from love and do what feels necessary to get an optimal outcome for everybody. I'm Kay. This is Ecstatic Self. Thanks for joining me. We're nearing 1,000 subscribers, which is awesome. We're also nearing 100 videos, which woo! So thank you for being part of the journey. If you aren't already, please do subscribe, like, comment, share. Yeah. And my book's coming out on Amazon, Journey to the Ecstatic Self. Please check it out. And I will see you next time. Namaste.